name is Crystal Clay. I'm the senior aquarist here at the Dauphin Island Sea Lab at the official aquarium of Alabama. And I'm here today to talk to you about our spooky fish, the batfish. So in the Gulf of Mexico, close to Alabama, we have 8 different species of batfish. So I have one in my hand right now, and there's one in our tank right over here, and we also have another one on display in a smaller tank. So we have a pancake in a smaller tank, our long nose over here, and our polka dot right here. Batfish are unique in that you notice that they are a weird body shape, and that's because they're related to anglerfish. So they have a little lure that lives underneath their nose that they can kind of take out and wiggle around. So if you've seen Finding Nemo with the fish with the light in front of its face, it's a similar principle. These guys live on the bottom, so they don't need to swim around as much. They have a very modified body shape for that reason. So their pectoral fins are modified to be over here on the sides, as well as their pelvic fins are down at the bottom, so they can kind of stand up on them as you kind of see our girl over there doing. And they'll kind of hop around when they move. It's also why they get the name batfish, because if you've ever seen a bat kind of walk around and hop on the ground, that's similar to how they move. They can swim, but very, very poorly. Batfish also, unlike other fish, do not have scales. They instead have these rough plates on their backs, which help them hide in the bottom. So normally this batfish would be more of a pinkish orange color, which helps them blend into the rocky and sandy bottoms that they live on, help it look kind of like, a piece of coral or sponge. So the rough texture on their back also helps create that illusion. They are ambush hunters, so they wait for the prey to come to them, which is why they have a lure to kind of bring fish close to their mouth, but then they can quickly jump forward and get their prey. So they can actually protrude their mouth pretty far down. For her size, she can fit food about this big. So when keeping them with other animals, we have to be cautious to make sure that their tank mates are too big for them to swallow whole, because if they can, they will try. So the one I'm holding in particular is a polka dot batfish, which is the largest species in the Gulf of Mexico. It gets 14 inches from the tip of the nose down to the tail. Most batfish are around 4 to 5 inches long. They get the name polka dot because of all the spots you can kind of see still on her back. They tend to be more black in color when they're alive. The one we have in the tank is a long nose, which, if you see her long nose, makes sense for her name. And these guys are always kind of a unique challenge with keeping them in captivity, because since they're such a rare animal to come across in the wild, people don't really know a lot about their care. It's been a lot of learning in the last 20 years on how to keep these guys alive. So since they are ambush hunters, they need to see their food move, and that can be kind of tricky. Our pancake is going to be a different genus, so instead of having this more kind of, people call them, say they look like a chicken wing in shape, more of that shape, they have a more disc shape. So I equate the one we have to about the size of a quarter right now, and it'll get about the size of a $50 at full grown size. But they will have the similar modified fins underneath. They are not picky at all. They will eat, in the wild they eat small invertebrates and fish. So we feed ours chopped up pieces of fish, shrimp, squid. In the wild they've actually been known to eat snails. They actually were doing x-rays of preserved fish in the Smithsonian collection and found one that had like 12 different shells in their stomach. They don't know if they eventually regurgitate those shells or digest them, but when we got this polka dot, she actually coughed out about 4 shells when we first had her. Over 70 species. And some of the species have only been seen one time in at least recorded knowledge. So they're incredibly rare in numbers. Actually in 2010 there was actually a new species discovered in Louisiana. So for our range in Alabama, since they live about 16 to 1,000 feet deep, they tend to stay, the species we have tend to be more at the shallow end. In the Gulf, there's an additional couple species. So in 2010, they actually discovered a new species in Louisiana called the Louisiana pancake batfish, which is very similar to our pancake batfish, just it's got a few different tubercles on the back, these little raised spines on the back. But they discovered that one while they were doing fish collection after Deepwater Horizon to see what species of fish were showing up alive and dead in the area due to the amount of oil spilled. And they happened to pull up, out of 1,000 fish, they pulled up only 3 batfish, 3 pancakes, and discovered that there was a different batfish amongst them. So since these guys are so rare, we're still discovering new things about them and new species still fairly recently. In captivity, we've been able to keep them alive for over 10 years. The girl that's swimming around behind me, we've had her since I started 4.5 years ago. I do call her a she because we do actually know she is female. Batfish will lay an egg raft, which is kind of like a kind of gooey slime that will float. So when they lay an egg raft, it's meant to travel far away to a different area. So there's no parental care involved at all. They lay them and wish them well. Their natural predators are going to be things like larger fish like groupers or snappers, also as well as eels, maybe the occasional shark or ray that might snack on them. But they're pretty hard and not quite chewy, so a lot of things tend to leave them alone. They tend to stay very still to not be noticed as well. Thank you guys for chatting with us today about our batfish, one of our spooky animals we have here at the estuarium, the official aquarium of Alabama.